State lawmakers under fire this week as many wonder why so few are in Springfield working on a budget. Plus, it's one of the biggest races in the state. A look at the Senate battle gearing up between Tammy Duckworth and Mark Kirk. And Republicans planning to take over Central Illinois. A look at the convention heading our way.
Now, from your local election headquarters, this is Central Illinois on the record.
Good morning, I'm Paul Cicchini. Welcome to Central Illinois on the record. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Lots going on, so let's get right to it. Our first stop, Springfield, where the governor and state lawmakers remain deadlocked. Neither side appears willing to budge. This week saw members of the state house in town discussing the budget, the Senate not in session. Now in the House, where lawmakers have been in what Speaker Michael Madigan calls continuous session, a lot of empty chairs. About 1 in 5 members missed session on either excused or unexcused absence. That's a total of 22 members. More than half of those absences were on the Republican side of the aisle. The one thing that got Governor Rauner pretty heated this week, state lawmakers deciding to take a $1,300 raise.
Despite our budget trouble, they've made sure and forced through a pay increase. And they're part-time employees. They're part-time workers for the state. The other folks work full-time. A huge difference between the General Assembly and the other people in the state government.
Rauner told reporters Speaker Madigan should hold a vote to raise taxes since he has enough members to override any veto. On Tuesday, the Speaker said Democrats did not vote on that cost of living increase. He said he's unsure of a lawmaker's pay status after Rauner vetoed the budget in May. However, the Comptroller's office says the General Assembly needs to pass a specific prohibition to stop that pay increase, which it has not done. The General Assembly has passed a 30-day budget. The bill has been waiting for the governor's signature since July 15th. Now, the budget battle in Springfield is trickling down to people with developmental disabilities. Many of them were getting a $60 monthly allowance. The program that funds that allowance expired at the end of the fiscal year. Now, the people who will receive it will only get $50. Now, it doesn't seem like much. Experts who deal with the developmentally disabled say it is a huge deal to them because it impacts their ability to make choices of what they do with that money. Now, inaction in Springfield is not sitting well with people facing those losses of services because of a lack of a budget. Now, our Capitol Bureau Chief Matt Porter joins us to help us put this all into perspective. So, Matt, let's start with this lawmaker pay hike. We've heard a lot about it. What's going on?
Well, Paul, it's a very confusing issue to say the least. Now, the issue starts with that lawmakers are due a cost of living increase every year. However, lawmakers have the choice of actually funding that cost of living increase. Now, for the past 8 years, they haven't funded and they haven't had a pay raise. However, this year, with the new budget, they have not put that specific prohibition, which is why the Comptroller has told me they will get that pay increase. However, Democrats tell me they don't necessarily want that pay increase and would like to pass a budget with no funding for that increase. However, until that all happens, the Comptroller says Democrats are going to get that cost of living adjustment.
All right, Matt, we've heard Speaker Madigan say there's a lack of leadership meetings. What's happening behind the scenes?
Well, from what it seems, at least from our perspective, is not very much. Now, Speaker Madigan and the governor have said they've had some cordial phone calls over the last month, but nothing like specific meetings or work groups that we would expect at this point in the budget negotiations. And I spoke to Republican and Democratic lawmakers who are in on the negotiations, and they say they're surprised there hasn't been more action up to this point.
All right, Senate President John Cullerton is calling for a budget reset based on the lack of progress. Are we thinking that's a pretty good idea?
Well, the Senate President thinks that's a good idea at this point, with both the Speaker and the Governor refusing to get off their current budgets. Now, the President made a good point. Both the Governor's and Speaker's budget are $4 billion out of balance. They don't work. So the Senate President has said, hey, why don't we come back together and put a budget that is in balance together? That seems like a good idea from all perspectives, but whether or not the Speaker and the Governor are willing to get on board at this point, well, we just don't know, Paul.
All right, thanks, Matt. Keep an eye on it for us in Springfield. Another big race taking shape in Illinois is in the U.S. Senate between incumbent Republican Mark Kirk and Democratic challenger Tammy Duckworth. It appears this race is going to cost a lot of money. Both Kirk and Duckworth have raised millions of dollars for their races. The Chicago Tribune reporting Kirk started the year with $2 million while Duckworth raised $1 million. Now, they've got to keep raising cash because last year the average winning Senate candidate spent $9.6 million on their respective race. Now to a story having an international impact, including right here in central Illinois. For the first time since breaking ties in the 1960s, the United States and Cuba reopened embassies in each other's capitals. At the Cuban embassy in Washington, D.C. last week, Cuban officials raised their flag. Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez Perea did the honor and was greeted with cheers from many of those watching. Cuban Foreign Minister says this is just the beginning.
Today, an opportunity has opened up to begin working in order to establish new bilateral relations, quite different from whatever existed in the past.
Now, the American embassy in Havana is open, but the U.S. flag won't be raised until Secretary of State John Kerry visits Cuba on August 14th. Folks at Caterpillar welcoming the renewed relationship between the U.S. and Cuba. In a news release sent out earlier this week, Caterpillar officials said it's time to end the Cuban trade embargo. Caterpillar CEO Doug Oberhelman says the company has been pushing for that since 1998. He added that in the company's view, the current Cuban policy has not worked. Caterpillar leaders visited Cuba in April of this year to better understand the market and to meet with business and government leaders.
I mean, I got a little dose of it. I was coming up, and I see your senator. What a stiff. What a stiff. Lindsey Graham. By the way, he's registered 0 in the polls. 0. He's on television all the time.
Trump going after South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, who called Trump a jackass on national television. Trump even gave out Graham's cell phone number during his speech. And yes, that was actually Senator Graham's cell phone number. Several news outlets called, but found the voicemail box full. Trump's stunt led Graham to destroy that phone using a blender, meat cleaver, golf club, toaster oven, even a samurai sword. He also doused it in lighter fluid, set it ablaze, and later threw it off a roof. Our Republicans are planning to set up shop in central Illinois next year. Coming up, a look at why they're coming to the River City. And the On the Record panel will wade into the stalemate over the state budget. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When you have credit card debt, the debt suckers never leave you alone.
She missed another payment. Raise the rates.
Oh, that bites.
But one call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your neck.
Oh no, she's calling Consolidated Credit.
They lower her rates.
And consolidate her bills into one low payment.
Call Consolidated Credit now.
Oh, because debt sucks.
Call 800-554-6033. Call now.
You're thinking big, and your company's more connected. More ways, more places, more devices. That's why Frontier Business Edge is thinking big about you. For data, video, voice, and cloud solutions. On an advanced fiber network built for today and tomorrow. With experts and equipment to customize solutions end to end. And 24/7 tech support. Frontier Business Edge. Make your big move today. Call 1-888-FRONTIER and talk to a specialist now.
Love designer clothing, handbags, jewelry, shoes, and home decor? Consider Cal Delu Consignments to find fashion and furnishings for a fraction of its original price. Plus sizes, maternity, men's, and more. Shop Cal Delu Consignments for designer looks at affordable prices.
It's simple. We don't believe in cookie-cutter recruiting. As a local, I'm familiar with the depth and talent of the job pool available in this area. And as a business owner, I'm held personally accountable for our services. I work directly with our clients to pinpoint their specific staffing needs and quickly match them with qualified individuals. I take a great deal of pride in that our clients have the highest retention rate and lowest turnover rate of any Pride Staff office in the United States. Because of Pride Staff Bloomington, we're committed to your success.
The WMBD family wants to extend our thoughts and prayers to those affected by the recent severe weather in central Illinois. And WMBD will continue to be there with you, telling your stories, watching our communities unite and rebuild, making us all Central Illinois proud. Here's a tough weather question for Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. What should you do if you're driving and a tornado is coming?
If you can, you want to exit your vehicle and get to a nearby sturdy shelter. If you can tell which direction the tornado is moving, drive at a 90-degree angle away from the storm. As a last resort, exit your vehicle and get to a low-lying area.
Your local weather authority is Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates on WMBD News at 10.
There's a difference in severe weather coverage. Try us and see for yourself.
Illinois Republicans planning to call Peoria home, at least for a few days next year. The state GOP planning to hold its 2016 political convention in the River City. As Hannah Hilliard shows us, the decision to bring the event here is a result of a lot of hard work.
The Illinois Republican Party has elected Peoria as the host of its next convention.
It's real exciting to be able to get such a prestigious event to come to Peoria.
And it will bring in nearly 1,500 GOPers.
Those 1,500 people, some will travel back and forth, of course, but we're expecting about 300 people to stay on a peak night.
But it will also bring in influential people.
More importantly is it gives us great exposure to all of the state legislators and the people involved in the Republican Party.
Peoria beat out 4 other cities, including Bloomington and Springfield, giving some Republicans a change of scenery.
We're outside of Springfield, which I think they're probably all getting a little tired of being at right now.
In a statement, Peoria County Republican Chair Catherine Coyle says she is ecstatic for the big news. She says, quote, "I look forward to showing Republicans from every corner of Illinois what makes Peoria a great place to live, work, and visit." The convention is May 20th through the 22nd of 2016.
That was Hannah Hilliard reporting. Republicans from all over Illinois will select presidential electors to go to the national convention in July of next year. That convention is taking place in Cleveland. But joining me now is Mike Bigger. He's the GOP's state party secretary and 18th District State Central Committeeman. All right, Mike, thanks for joining me. We heard a little bit from Hannah about the hard work, but it was a pretty big deal because if the convention wasn't going to be in Peoria in 2016, it would have been 2 more election cycles before it would have happened.
Right, that's correct, Paul. We have a convention every 4 years, and we alternate that between the Chicago area, and then it comes downstate, and vice versa. So 4 years ago, it was in Tinley Park. This year, Peoria was lucky enough to get it, and had we not, it would have been another 8 years, because 4 years from now, it will go back up to the Chicago area. And so it was really critical that we got the convention this time. I'm very excited that we did. It's going to be a great convention. A lot of hard work did go into it. We started this process really late last year, and early on, I was very excited to make sure Peoria was considered as one of the spots. And being the state party secretary and on the executive committee, I had a chance to kind of bring that up early on and kind of plant that seed in people's minds. And then we started the selection process again around January, and like was mentioned earlier, there were some excellent sites that were looked at. Peoria really did come out on top in significant ways. And I have to really give a lot of the credit to Don Welch and his people at the Peoria Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. They jumped on this very, very early. A good friend of mine actually suggested that I reach out to them early on, that they would be a great group to help spearhead this, to help me in the process. This was someone who did a lot of event planning, and so I did that. Don and his people were tremendous. They partnered with Joe Stoll at the Civic Center and also Karen Nash at the Pier and the Marriott Development, really put a team of people together and met every expectation and need that we needed for this convention. In fact, they exceeded that, and it's just going to be a tremendous, tremendous venue and facility. Peoria downtown is just wonderful for this. Everything is contained. We have excellent restaurants. We have great nightlife. We have the riverfront. We have the museum. We have a climate-controlled environment where people can leave the hotel facility, go to the Civic Center. It's just tremendous. I couldn't be more excited and pleased that it's going to happen in Peoria.
So obviously a lot of work to get it here, less than a year away. What's going to be done between now and then to get Peoria and the Republican Party ready for the event?
Sure, a lot of work will get done. Actually, I think most of the hard work will happen now because we have to do all of the planning. The Peoria County Republican Organization, which Catherine Coyle is the chairman of, will be very closely involved with this, as well as other county committees, because the volunteer base that's required is extreme to have this. In fact, a lot of people don't realize the Illinois Republican Party has a paid staff statewide of 3 people. That's it. Rest of us are total volunteers. Our state party chairman is a volunteer. So in order to put on an event like this that will have 1,300 convention delegates and probably upwards of 2,000 people totally in attendance, it takes a lot of work, a lot of preparation, and a lot of volunteers, and that's what we'll be concentrating on now. We also, throughout this next year, will be establishing convention committees, appointing people to those committees which will serve, and they'll start their work basically Friday of the convention, where we'll go into committees. Things such as the platform for the next 4 years that the Illinois Republican Party will work behind will be established. We will elect a new national committeeman and committeewoman, or we could re-elect the same folks. We'll be electing delegates to the national convention. A lot of things, a lot of work will go on. So it'll be a really a lot of background work before we get to the convention. Tons and tons of hours and volunteer work will be done before we get there.
Well, it sounds like a very exciting time. and something that we're going to look forward to, and I think we're going to have to check in with you again in the near future to see how progress is coming along, and maybe look at who some of those electors could be supporting in the near future. All right, thank you very much, Mike. Really appreciate it. Mike Bigger with the Illinois Republican Party still ahead. Lawmakers can't seem to come up with a budget they can agree on. We can agree. The On the Record panel is up next with a closer look at the fight in Springfield.
Are you unemployed or underemployed? Need a degree to help you land that great job? CareerLink can help you identify where you'll be the most successful and give you the tools you need, including free tuition assistance for jobs in high demand. Visit CareerLink today or log on to careerlink16.com.
Bard Optical believes that seeing is learning, and that early learning is vital to raising successful students.
To assist young children, the Heart of Illinois United Way has launched a Success by Six program.
Please support Success by Six Early Childhood Initiative and the Heart of Illinois United Way.
Your husband took up bush sculpting. Your AC broke. You missed the deadline for summer camp. But you scored big at the summer savings event at Furniture Row. Best summer ever. During the summer savings event, you can find huge savings store-wide, including new arrivals, final markdowns, and up to 50% off all outdoor furniture. Plus, 0% interest for 4 years. Hurry! Summer savings at Furniture Row ends soon.
For a weekly traditional Christian worship service where the Bible is preached, join us for the Christian Worship Hour. Pastor Harold E. Salem's message will be an inspiration to you and your family. Our service always includes special musical presentations to help celebrate the glory of the Lord Jesus Christ. Join us this week on this station for the Christian Worship Hour, a traditional service where the Bible is preached.
Don't spend the day sneezing. Stay ahead of your allergies with allergy text alerts from CIOTr to go. Everything you need to know, anytime, anywhere, right in the palm of your hands. Sign up for free on CIProud.com. Brought to you by Hopedale Medical Complex. Hey, Central Illinois, what's your number?
I'm a 5. I'm a 5, 6, 9, and 10. I'm a 6, 9, and 10. I'm a 5, 6, and 10.
And I'm a 6, 9, and 10.
No matter if you're an early bird or a night owl, Central Illinois Proud or First at 9, we have the newscast built just for you. Oh, and it's all in high definition. It's our way of saying thanks for buying that expensive TV. So what's your number?
Well, she's a 10.
That's not what we're talking about, but thank you. We're morning people.
Are you unemployed or underemployed? Not making the money you deserve? CareerLink can help you get your career back on track and give you the tools you need, including free tuition assistance for jobs in high demand. Visit CareerLink today or log on to careerlink16.com.
All right, time now to check in with our On the Record panel. Joining me today, both from Illinois State University, Assistant Professors of Politics and Government, Carrie Melita and Carl Palmer. Okay, let's get right into it. We've heard a lot about the state budget talks. The President of the Senate has called for a reset, but a lot of money has been thrown around on the conservative side, liberal side, putting ads on TV, really attacking the other side. If a reset happens, which is probably what needs to happen, can they step back from the ads that have been on TV?
No, I think we would hope they could. I mean, politicians disagree all the time. I mean, you've got Democrats, Republicans, and they can't seem to see eye to eye. So you'd like to think that they can just put this past them and start over. But it really seems like we have an inexperienced governor that is trying to get his way, and we have a perhaps too experienced legislature that says, no, this is not how we do things, and they both draw their lines in the sand.
Yeah, Carrie, we have a billionaire governor. Mm-hmm. But Michael Madigan in the State House has raised tens of millions of dollars over his political career. I mean, he's very savvy. There's a reason he stayed in office so long. Is that, part of the issue, like Carl said? I mean, just kind of playing the political game, that Madigan knows how to do it, and Rauner kind of is coming in as a strong-fisted, business type?
I think when you have this type of money that's been spent talking about issues, that in a way, when you come out to the public and talk about issues, you've made a campaign promise, in a sense, for your next election. So in some sense, I worry that all of these ads that have been airing are kind of drawing lines in the sand that neither side's going to want to cross and concede ground on, just for the purpose of running in future races, which impacts donorships. And so I think maybe it's a bigger issue than we think it is, being able to put the ads behind us. So,
I mean, you're a political observer, obviously. How is this unique, what's happened here, because it's not technically an election season, but it almost feels like one at times?
We definitely live in a new world post the Citizens United decision, where money is essentially constitutionally enshrined right now. In terms of budget problems, that's not particular to Illinois. Where, we've had states like Florida that wasn't able to pass a budget, and so this is I think a newer, interesting world we're living in, where money is able to draw lines in the sand now. So, and we'll see what happens, any impacts in elections for crossing those lines.
So, is there a way to cross those lines that you see?
Really, we need to someone to step into Springfield, take Madigan and Rauner by the scruffs of their heads and say, "You're acting like spoiled children. Just get us a budget." And Carrie was mentioning that lots of other states have had this. I mean, I grew up in California, and every year there would be no budget. And so, when there was, it was going to be happening here, I thought, well, that's not a big deal. I've grown up with this. I've lived with this. It just happens. And it seems like we really need to have someone take steps forward, whether it's the public rallying around and saying we need a budget, we need to have an end to this partisanship. But it's doable. It's just we need to have someone make it happen.
Yeah, we've seen rallies across the state. We've heard from families who are going to be impacted directly when it comes to potential state cuts. Is it so much that these guys are always working in Springfield and they're always kind of crunching numbers that the people sometimes get lost and it's just numbers after all?
I think it's easy to see that you lose that personal touch with your constituency, and so it's more, how many votes can I get, and am I going to lose votes or gain votes by doing this? And it seems like right now they don't feel like they're going to be losing any votes.
So is this a positive in some ways for the process when you have people coming out like this and reminding your state senators, your state house members, hey, we are people, we are real, we are impacted by the decisions that you're making?
Maybe it's good that we're having some public demands for accountability, which I think is pretty new in the recent years in this state. So if this gets people, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, but if it gets people talking and active and demanding accountability, maybe it might have spillover effects, and we might see some positive externalities elsewhere in our government from it.
We were talking during the break about political involvement from the public and what candidates are doing and how they rally supporters. And shifting out of the presidential race, we see two candidates who a lot of political observers would say they don't have a shot at the White House, and Republican Rand Paul and Democratic Socialist Bernie Sanders. But those two attract large crowds wherever they go. How are they doing it messaging-wise?
Well, in a lot of ways, you can point to Bernie Sanders, and he's picking his spots very carefully. He's saying things that the other candidates, Hillary Clinton and the other Democratic candidates, aren't saying. And he's speaking and trying to acknowledge that there are needs that politicians can handle, and that he's speaking more candidly than we've definitely seen Hillary Clinton do.
Okay, well, we're very short on time, so just very quickly, Donald Trump obviously in the headlines a lot lately. It looks very likely he's going to be in this first presidential debate. Does he make it past there, or is this his peak?
He's going to run as an independent, right? Isn't that what's going to happen? I think we're seeing the last days of the Trump mania. The first front runner in polls, I think, very rarely ends up being the nominee from either party. So that would be my guess. But he's run a heck of a campaign. It's certainly set some records, I think.
Yeah, we saw this last cycle too, that with Rick Perry and his infamous "oops" comment, and then Herman Cain between 999 and Libya, is that people will rise to the top and then they'll flame out. And I think after taking shots at John McCain, that's one step too far.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on it. Thank you very much both for joining me. Carrie Melita, Carl Palmer from Illinois State University. Still ahead, a bill about the Confederate flag bogging down the U.S. House of Representatives. When we come back, we'll look at why the stars and bars are stalling spending bills.
How do you connect with your customers while staying ahead of the digital revolution? Tactive Digital is the partner you can rely on to help navigate the ever-evolving digital marketing landscape. To schedule your free digital analysis, visit tactivedigital.com.
The Ultimate Girls' Day Out is back. I'm WMBD's Evelyn Wilkerson. Join me at the Living Well Women's Expo this October in Bloomington.
Now's the time to register your business to join the fun. Get your product and services in front of potential new clients.
It's our neighborhood, our community, the heart of Illinois we care about. It's reaching out to show that we care, spreading the heartland spirit we share. You need to know our team will be there, that's who we are. Central Illinois proud, WMBD, yeah, we're keeping it local.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Information on hot water heating.
No. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out the words.
World music. Playing track now.
No.
Let me try. Our daughter gets confused about which details in a story are important.
Which paper towels are most absorbent? What? Here are 5 product reviews.
Why are you not getting me?
See, I told you.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
A criminal investigation could be opened in connection with the personal email account Hillary Clinton used during her time as Secretary of State. According to a report in the New York Times, 2 inspectors general have asked the Justice Department to open a criminal investigation into whether sensitive government information was mishandled. The inspectors general are independent officials who conduct audits, investigations, and inspections in the agencies for which they're responsible. Now, Clinton's use of the personal account for business instead of a State Department account stirred a political storm after news of it emerged in March. 2016 Democratic presidential candidate has insisted she never handled classified information on that private account. Now, could Illinois soon allow concealed carry among active military? Republican State Senator Darren LaHood introducing legislation that would do just that. Following the attack on service members in Tennessee, LaHood is sponsoring a bill that would allow out-of-state military to concealed carry in Illinois. The measure would allow active duty and their spouses to get a permit here. All service members would have to follow the same rules as everyone else in the state. And spending bills have taken a backseat in the House of U.S. Representatives ahead of the August recess as lawmakers try to reach a deal over the Confederate flag. A lawmaker from California tried to add protections about where the flag could be displayed, which prompted Democrats to force votes on the issue. Now, the National Defense Authorization Act, highway funding, and the reauthorization of the Export-Import Bank are among the bills being held up. According to published reports, delayed votes on funding doesn't mean lawmakers are heading for an early recess, though. The House is looking to address several other issues, including food labeling and coal regulations. All right, stay with us. I'll be right back.
Drug or alcohol dependency can be a hard thing to come to terms with. It can affect your job, destroy your marriage, and ruin your life. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction and finding it hard to take the first step, the Addiction Recovery Group is here to offer free help. We can help you with immediate admittance to a treatment center near you. And due to the recent changes in healthcare, your insurance may cover up to $30,000 in treatment costs with no out-of-pocket cost to you. Take that first step. Call now and get the help you need fast and confidentially. If you or a loved one is losing control due to drugs or alcohol, the Addiction Recovery Group is here to help. It only takes one phone call to start getting your life back to the way it was. The call is free and there's no obligation. Make today the first day of the rest of your life. Call now.
Call 1-800-788-0436. That's 1-800-788-0436.
Here's a tough weather question for Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. What should you do when a severe thunderstorm warning is issued?
When a severe thunderstorm warning is issued, it means a storm is producing large hail and or damaging winds. Make sure you get to the lowest floor of a sturdy building and stay away from exterior walls and windows.
Your local weather authority is Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates on WMBD News at 10.
There's a difference in severe weather coverage. Try us. See for yourself.
That's going to do it for this edition of
reading?
Central Illinois on the Record.
Searching
We'll
for
see you
help
back
with
here next
Docs and
Sunday and
reading.
throughout the week. We'll check in on lawmakers to
Let me
see if
try.
they've made any progress on that
Sarah's
state
bright,
budget.
but when she's reading, she
And
has
of course, you can
trouble
always stay in
sounding
touch
out
with us
words.
using social
Playing
media.
world
Connect
music.
with me and WMBD on Facebook and Twitter. Use the hashtag CIOTr.
Wait, I was
See you
trying
next
to
week.
show you how Sarah
The views and
feels
opinions
every
expressed
day.
in this
Frustrating,
program are
isn't
those
it?
of the
Redirecting
participants
to
and do not necessarily
understood.org.
reflect those of
Join parents and experts at
WMBD,
understood.org, a free
WYZZ,
online
or
resource
Nexstar
about learning and
Broadcasting
attention
Group.
issues to help your child thrive.